A detective then asked Michele why she thought the police were at her parents' house. Her response? "It's not Joe's fault. It's all my fault." On December 24th, 2007, Wayne and Judy were awaiting the arrival of their children and grandchildren for their fun Christmas Eve festivities. Everyone was getting ready except their one daughter, Mary, who didn't feel well, so she decided to stay back. Good move, Mary. But what was to come for the Anderson family wasn't so holly or jolly. At around 5 p.m. that night, police dispatchers received a gut-wrenching 911 call. It was the sound of indistinct arguing followed by a female screaming, "Not the kids." And then silence. The phone died and the call was dropped. Talk about a cliffhanger! Dispatchers were concerned, so they sent police to the location of the call to check things out. It was the Andersons' house. When the officers arrived, the gate to the Andersons' property was locked, so they decided to leave. Don't you think they'd look into things more after the screaming 911 call ended so abruptly? Just a thought. But nothing happened until 8 a.m. on December 28th, when Linda, Judy's co-worker, stopped by the Andersons' house. Linda went to check on Judy because she hadn't shown up for work that day. The gate was locked, but Linda went around it. Gee, if only the cops had thought of that. Linda then knocked on the front door. No one answered. She noticed the door was unlocked, which is weird because Judy always kept her door locked. But Linda entered the house looking for Judy. Then she found a man lying on the floor motionless. It was Scott. Upon first glance, Linda assumed it was carbon monoxide poisoning, but after taking a closer look, she noticed a bullet wound. Then she saw a woman and a child on the floor near Scott's body. Linda first thought the female was Judy, but it was actually Scott's wife, Erica, and the child was their 3-year-old son. So at this point, Linda is freaking out and she calls 911 to report the crime. While on the phone with the operator, Linda told him that Judy and Wayne's one daughter, Michele, lived in a double wide on her parents' property and was in a feud with them over money. Linda thought she might have something to do with the tragedy. The police arrived at the Andersons' house at 9:30 that morning. This time, they made it past the gate. Hallelujah! They identified the 3 individuals as Scott, Erica, and their son. Upon closer investigation, officers found the 5-year-old daughter hidden behind her mother. The officers continued to sweep the area and discovered Judy and Wayne knocked out in this shed. About 3 hours later, Michele pulled up to her parents' house with her boyfriend. Michele didn't seem to care that the cops were there. She didn't even ask if her parents were okay. Detectives then questioned Michele, and she said the last time she saw her parents was on Christmas Eve. She was supposedly on her way to Vegas with her boyfriend to get hitched, but claimed they turned around because they had gotten lost. It's like she's never heard of a map? A detective then asked Michele why she thought the police were at her parents' house. Her response? "It's not Joe's fault. It's all my fault." She then went on to confess that she was responsible for taking out her whole family with bullets. Well, minus Mary. Talk about a quick confession. I haven't even gotten baking the cookies yet. Officials went on to ask Michele more details about the event. She told them she was tired of being walked all over by her family. Her brother apparently owed her $40,000 and he had yet to pay her back. Her parents were pestering her about paying rent for living on their property. Seems like Michele is overreacting a bit. Like, did she not try to have a civilized conversation with them before resorting to violence? Michele confessed that she planned the event for 2 weeks and had her boyfriend help. Here's how it went down. Her parents were preparing for everyone to arrive for their Christmas festivities. Judy was wrapping presents, Wayne was sitting on the couch watching TV. Michele and her boyfriend came over. They both had Glocks. Well, that escalated quickly. Michele's boyfriend distracted Judy while she aimed for her father, Wayne. Her handheld jammed up, so Michele's boyfriend ended up taking out her parents. They moved Wayne and Judy to the shed and cleaned up the house. Scott, Erica, and their 2 kids arrived. Michele fired at Scott, taking him out. Michele and her boyfriend fire at Erica, but they run out of ammunition. During this time, an injured Erica jumps over the couch, grabs the phone, and calls 911. This is the screaming phone call from earlier. Michele's boyfriend grabs the phone from Erica, takes out the batteries, and smashes it against the wall. When Michele realized Erica's 911 call went through, she went out to lock the gate. Then her boyfriend aimed for Erica, takes her out, and Michele instructs her boyfriend to go for Scott and Erica's kids. She told officials that they had to knock out the kids because they didn't want any witnesses, and the kids would be scarred for life from seeing their parents' gruesome exit. Wow, Michele is one tough cookie, and not in a good way. Later in her questioning, Michele led investigators to find the weapons in a nearby river. On December 28th, Michele and her boyfriend were arrested for taking out all 6 family members. They both confessed. The trial process for Michele and her boyfriend was longer than cookies are sweet. The boyfriend went to trial in 2015, 8 years after the initial incident. And I thought the DMV was slow. Damn. He claimed Michele manipulated him into participating, but was found guilty and charged for life without the possibility of parole. Michele went to trial in 2016. She also received a life sentence without an opportunity for parole. Let's recap. Boy meets girl, they fall in love and have kids. Their kids have kids, and they plan a cheerful holiday celebration. Their oldest daughter ditches them because she doesn't feel well, smart move, and their younger gold-digging daughter shows up with her boyfriend with weapons, and they take out the whole family, including her parents, her brother, his wife, and their 2 kids. The end. Whew. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna need a more lighthearted story before I go to bed. And I'm also gonna need some oat milk for these cookies.